Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, we are undertaking a comprehensive exploration of wireless network auditing, social engineering vectors at the data link layer, and the architectural principles behind security assessment frameworks like Fluxion. Our goal throughout this video is to dissect how evil twin assessments function theoretically, why security researchers study these attack surfaces, and what defensive engineering practices are required to protect modern enterprise and personal wireless infrastructures. When conducting any form of authorized penetration testing or defensive evaluation, the operating system and hardware configuration serve as the foundation of your laboratory environment. For this type of research, Parrot OS Security Edition provides an ideal platform. Linux environments tailored specifically for security tasks ship with pre-configured network stacks, updated kernel drivers, and essential auditing suites that simplify Layer 2 frame analysis. However, running an operating system like Parrot OS is only half of the equation when working with wireless protocols. A critical requirement in wireless security research is having a compatible external wireless network adapter. Built-in laptop wireless cards are designed almost exclusively for client mode operations, meaning their firmware and standard drivers are optimized to connect to an existing access point, maintain a stable data link, and discard any radio traffic not explicitly addressed to their specific media access control address. In contrast, wireless auditing requires hardware with chipset support for monitor mode and packet injection. Chipsets from manufacturers like Atheros, Raylink, or Realtek allow the wireless interface to bypass standard filtering, capturing raw 802.11 management, control, and data frames directly out of the air. Furthermore, packet injection capability enables the interface to construct and transmit custom frame structures into the radio frequency spectrum, which is fundamental for verifying protocol resilience in controlled testing environments. Within the landscape of open-source security tools, Fluxion represents an automated framework designed to simulate rogue access point and captive portal scenarios. Rather than attempting to crack complex cryptographic keys through brute force computation or dictionary attacks against captured four-way handshakes, Fluxion targets the human factor in the authentication process. By analyzing the structural design of such tools, network administrators can better understand how unauthenticated attackers exploit basic network trust models. To truly understand how this vector operates, we must first break down the mechanics of the IEEE 802.11 standard. In legacy and standard Wi-Fi protected access to personal networks, a fundamental architectural vulnerability exists within management frames. While data frames carrying actual user payload are encrypted using pairwise transient keys derived during the four-way handshake, management frames, including beacon frames, probe requests, probe responses, and deauthentication frames, are transmitted entirely in plain text without cryptographic signatures. In a simulated evil twin assessment, an auditing platform observes the target environment, recording the service set identifier, the operational radio channel, and the basic service set identifier, which corresponds to the hardware MAC address of the legitimate access point. The tool then spins up a duplicate software access point, broadcasting an identical network identifier. To divert client devices toward the rogue access point, the auditor generates standard 802.11 deauthentication or disassociation frames spoofed to appear as though they originate from the legitimate gateway. Because standard WPA2 does not cryptographically validate the sender of management frames, the connected client device accepts the deauthentication command and tears down its wireless link. Once disconnected, the client's network manager automatically scans the surrounding radio spectrum to re-establish connectivity. Under standard roaming algorithms, client devices will typically associate with the access point that presents the strongest received signal strength indicator, matching the known network identifier. If the rogue access point provides a stronger radio signal, the client associates with it. At this stage, the rogue system environment relies on network routing and name resolution manipulation rather than genuine encryption handshakes. The rogue system runs a local dynamic host configuration protocol daemon to assign the victim client an IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway. Concurrently, a local domain name service daemon intercepts all outgoing DNS queries from the client, resolving every single web domain request back to the local IP address of the rogue gateway. When the user opens a web browser or when the client operating system initiates its automated network connectivity checks, the HTTP request is caught by the local routing tables and redirected to a captive portal web application. This captive portal mimics a legitimate administrative interface, firmware update prompt, or security verification form, explicitly asking the user to re-enter their Wi-Fi pre-shared key. If an untrained user submits the passphrase, the web application captures the string and verifies it against the genuine four-way handshake hash previously recorded from the legitimate network. Once a match is confirmed, the audit demonstrates that the network perimeter was bypassed, not through computational cryptanalysis, but through combined Layer 2 disruption and social engineering tactics. Understanding this attack sequence highlights why modern cybersecurity relies on defense in depth rather than relying solely on complex passwords. Defending networks against evil twin and rogue access point tactics requires both technical protocol hardening and user awareness. The first and most effective technical countermeasure is the deployment of protected management frames, standardized under IEEE 802.11w and made mandatory in the WPA3 standard. Protected management frames introduce cryptographic integrity and replay protection to unicast and broadcast management frames. When 802.11w or WPA3 is enabled, client devices will reject unauthenticated deauthentication frames sent by rogue third parties, effectively preventing attackers from knocking legitimate users off the network. In enterprise and organizational environments, networks should transition away from pre-shared key authentication entirely in favor of WPA3 Enterprise utilizing 802.1 and the Extensible Authentication Protocol with Transport Layer Security. Under an EAP-TLS architecture, authentication relies on mutual public key infrastructure certificates installed on both the authentication server and the client endpoint. Because a rogue access point cannot produce a cryptographic certificate signed by the enterprise's private certificate authority, client devices will categorically refuse to associate with any rogue clone, rendering evil twin broadcasts completely ineffective. In addition to endpoint configurations, robust facilities implement wireless intrusion detection and prevention. These dedicated radio sensors constantly sweep the wireless spectrum across all regulatory channels to monitor frame anomalies. A WIDS platform can instantly flag rogue access points broadcasting authorized corporate SSIDs from unmanaged MAC addresses, detect anomalous surges in deauthentication frames, and alert system administrators before client credentials can be compromised. Finally, organizational policy and user awareness play an indispensable role. Operating systems and modern mobile devices are increasingly designed to display security warnings when connecting to open networks or when interacting with self-signed certificate mismatches. Security awareness training must reinforce that legitimate access points and home routers do not suddenly request administrative passwords or network keys through generic web browser pop-ups during routine browsing sessions. By studying tools like Fluxion within a strictly authorized, ethical research context on systems like Parrot OS, security analysts and network engineers can properly evaluate their wireless posture, eliminate protocol vulnerabilities, and implement the necessary cryptographic controls to keep modern networks secure. Thank you for watching, and stay safe.